Okay, here we are. So Mishi and I are here talking today about when is a good time to lose weight after HA recovery. So Mishi, I know you've got kill it for us. What are your immediate thoughts when somebody says to you, when is an okay or the best time for me to start thinking about losing weight after recovery?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is like when we have healed our relationship with food, when we've healed our relationship with our body and exercise, and we're in a more balanced mindset, which can take a really long time post recovery. So I know we'll recording this, we were just chatting and you were saying something around like a year, and I kind of agree with that as well. Like I really didn't feel like I was in a really balanced place or like a very healed place via my mindset until about maybe a year like post recovery for me. um I'm in a place where I'm 2.5 years, yeah, 2.5 years recovered. I think that's where you're at too, right?
I'm actually a little bit longer. I think oh gosh, I think I've been recovered almost 3.5 now.
Okay.
Maybe,
Okay,
maybe.
okay. Um, well, I'm 2.5, and I feel like I'm I'm and I'm really bad with math, so maybe it's different. But I am now at a place where I feel really good that I want to start really incorporating movement and things of that nature and maybe working on my body composition. So that's kind
Yeah,
of like the first things that come to my mind. Like, what
yeah.
are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts were because remember when I went into and through recovery, I only did it because I knew it's what I had to do and I was doing a means to an end. But
Mm.
I did not want to. I wanted to be able to check off the box that said I have my period, check, but I also wanted to be able to check off the box for the perfect body and stuff like that. So I was very much trying to do both at the same time.
Mm,
And I mean, I was just banging my head off a wall. Like I
of
wasn't
course.
making any progress. And so I will say that even after I got my period, my body didn't respond. I got my period and I'm like, okay, great. Now I'm going to start kicking up everything. I could not get my body to respond because of the recovery process. It's like, it was like, no, we're fighting back at this. And so, I wouldn't recommend for anybody, you know, until at least like a year has passed, but you really have to see. I mean, you can almost tell by talking to somebody,
Uh-huh.
just by the phrases that they use. If you get to spend more time around them, how they treat their clothing, how they're treating their food,
Hmm.
to see if they're ready. And that's where having a coach comes in, right? But if you don't have a coach, how do you know? I mean, there's little things like, when do you stop having an affair with the peanut butter jar, right? That was the thing too. I mean, peanut butter, it was like the only sweet, savory thing I was allowed to eat for the
Mhm.
longest time. And so I would, if I would lose control and finish a whole jar of peanut butter, that's still not a restored relationship with food
No, no,
at
you're
all.
still very hungry.
Yeah, yeah.
I did a post like a really long time ago, but anyways, I needed to just do a little bit of research before I was doing it, and it definitely was on peanut butter. And there are so many peanut butter support groups.
Oh, really?
Because yes, of so many women who are binging on peanut butter and cannot stop. And I'm
Well,
just like, you're
that's how
just
I would break my fast. I mean, I would have 2 scoops of peanut butter, but if I was feeling really bad for myself, it would turn to 3 and 4 and 5. And then before I knew it, I was at the bottom of the jar. And let's be specific. It was not your sugar-filled Jif or Skippy. I was eating the natural stuff that you have to mix for about a half hour and get that oil in there. That was like,
oh,
You remember the
Yes.
days.
I do remember the days. My husband used to have to hide the peanut butter jar from me because like I literally, if I opened it, it was like I was gonna finish the entire jar.
Yeah.
So that's how you know that you're hungry and there's still restriction around.
And
But
you're not ready to lose weight
you're not ready
because you
to
can't do it the
like
right way.
no, no, no. You certainly will not do it the right way. Like if you're still thinking about food, like you're not ready to lose weight.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of really there are a few things that you said like so when I was going through recovery as well, like I was the same way. I was like I'm just going to do this and on the other side, I'm going to go back to the way I was before. I'm going to
Mhm.
lose the weight and I'm just like now being on the other side knowing everything and we know it's just like it really just like doesn't work like that and how you were saying about like, you know, give your body a year to just heal. And you also said something else about how like when you recovered, like your body just like wasn't responding or
Yeah.
something,
Wouldn't
right? Right.
respond.
Yeah. And I think that's extremely common because like your body's still very much in a healing phase, like mentally and both physically. Like because once you recover, like yeah, you feel filled the energy deficit to turn on the HPO axis and get some hormonal activity happening, but you're also on the other side still like filling up your allostatic load, so your ability to maintain homeostasis. And so really bringing back balance into like minerals and nutrients and vitamins and like filling up your like energy stores, you know, so that like you know what I'm saying. And so
Yeah.
like there's that part of it. So there's the physical part that's still happening. So your body is really, really not ready to lose any sort of weight at all. And then the mental aspect of it. So um I once I recovered, I was still in a little bit of like a dieting mindset, of course. Like I still was like trying to hold on to like my clean eating, paleo lifestyle and trying to act like I didn't have any hangups around food. Like, oh, I don't like I just don't want to eat those things or whatever. And
Yeah.
like I was so adamant that I was like, you know, I just don't have any issues with food. And I truly actually what I really, really did. And so um, anyways, long and the short, it was like after my recovery, maybe like a month or two, where I finally just like, I think I just broke, where I was didn't want to continue like being at war with myself, being at war with food, all the things. And so I just let everything go. I gave up exercise and I told myself, I was like, I'm going to give myself 8 months break off of exercise and I'm just going to allow my body to just heal and do what it needs to do. And I'm going to give myself unconditional permission to eat. So I'm going to allow myself to have all of the things that I've deemed as bad. Um, and so I did actually gain a little bit more weight. Obviously, I was still very much restricting. And so my body was still trying to create that safety because I was like in this mental turmoil. Anyways, but doing that, letting go of the exercise and working on my relationship with food and giving myself all this unconditional permission to eat and giving my body the unconditional permission to change, I let go of that fear of weight gain
Mhm.
at that, like somewhere in that part of my journey. And that's when like you know, my body started to let go of some of the weight. Not really let
Exactly.
go of the weight, it just started to redistribute.
Yes. Yes. And I
Yeah.
was trying to talk to somebody about this before is that like I weigh, my weight hasn't really changed, but I'm still consistently about 40 pounds heavier than I was. But my
Yes.
body,
Okay. I am
yeah,
so happy to hear you say that because like we have to do like the physicals every year. And for
yeah,
the past 2 years, I've been the same weight and I really have not lost weight since
yeah.
recovery.
But my body's not the same.
But yes,
My
no.
body's not the same at all. Like you can tell, and this is actually, I have it right here. So my brother bought me this watch for my birthday. And I always say in skinny season. So when I was, really, really sick, I had my husband take out 3 watch links to make it fit. And
Yeah.
then when I got my period back, I was mortified that it wouldn't fit around my wrist and I
Uh-huh.
couldn't close it. But then now, I can't, and my weight hasn't changed.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's a very small example, but I wish that I had taken a picture of the watch when it didn't fit. But
Yeah.
but like I said, it's not the same body. It's like it swelled and then it kind of redistributed to where it needed to be. It started using that stuff for the ligaments, for the bones, for the muscles. And this just touch back on something you said a long time ago, but everything physically takes time. When I was going through my weight loss dreams there, I I got so much satisfaction out of seeing the scale go down every day. And to me, that was consistent progress. I am improving my body
Mhm.
composition. My body is getting smaller. My muscles are getting more pronounced. But really, I wasn't actually gaining any muscle at all.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
just taking away that extra, it was like the extra skin, the water weight, like my bone density after I had a scan, I knew that was low. My muscle mass itself, the only reason why I felt like I was getting stronger is because my all of my body was getting lighter from not having food in it, from not having,
Yeah.
yeah, it was easier
It
for it to move, but it wasn't actually building any muscle.
right, and then, like, as your body gets lighter, you probably feel like you're getting stronger,
Right.
and then but at some point and then you're running on adrenaline and cortisol, and
Oh
so you
yeah.
feel like you
Yeah.
can lift a car, anyway,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
let's besides that, and then taking like a pre-workout on top of that, Lord have mercy. I can't believe I
Yeah,
didn't die.
yeah, you're all jacked up, and then all of a sudden, you literally you burn out.
Yeah.
And so, it feels good until it doesn't.
Right.
And it is going to run out at some certain point.
Yeah, I
Um,
I definitely started hitting a wall with my fitness goals. Like I had gotten down to a certain weight and I really wasn't getting any stronger. And that's when I started thinking like, well, I really want my period back. I haven't seen that in 3 years. And so I
mhm.
started shifting my goal because I started plateauing with like I couldn't lose any more weight. I couldn't get any stronger. And that's really why I started shifting.
Oh my
It's
gosh. Literally the same thing for me too is like I hit a plateau and I started to gain weight and I was like, "You know what? Like I literally cannot eat any less than I'm already eating now." Like I
yeah.
am at the ultimate level of restriction and and I'm starting to gain weight. Like what's going on? And then that's actually finally when I had some interest in like let me understand what's going on with my period.
Oh man. But yeah, I would say that if you're still thinking about food, if you're still having an affair with the peanut butter jar, if you are planning your birthday week meals and or spending an hour in the grocery store because none of the desserts look good enough for you to eat, you might not be ready to lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
And I feel like if you are still focused on weight loss has and you haven't found peace with that,
you have to hit a low point of peace where
yes.
you appreciate your body and what it's able to do before you start loving it into the best form that it can be in. There's a it's a very fine line,
It really
but
truly is. And I
it
feel
makes
like
a
when I
difference.
was, like, going through my recovery, like, I gave up the exercise. I also stopped wearing makeup, just because I hid behind my body and I hid behind being beautiful and being this socially acceptable, like, version. Basically, it was this mask or whatever.
Right.
And so when I, went through recovery, I call it my recovery after my recovery because, like, I feel like that's truly when I really did a
So
lot of
you did
work.
like two separate years of recovery. You did the I'm getting my period back, then you got your period back, and then you had another year of growth,
Yeah,
so to
yeah,
speak.
because I still went through recovery trying to be super restrictive and then when I went on the other side, I was like, I'm just so fed up with this lifestyle and like being at war with myself. I'm over it and I'm done. And so when I went through that part of my recovery, I just like I took all of these all of the things that I hid behind a way. And it
Yeah.
really doing that, it really helped me stand on my own and develop a really strong sense of self. Like I wasn't doing anything for the external. I was finally learning how to build up my own self-worth. And it was through that process that I got to a place of peace and acceptance with myself. And that literally, I swear to goodness, it's like magic where your body
Yes.
just starts to like let go. Like Abby and I both said, neither
Yeah.
of us have like really lost any weight. We're pretty much the same. And if you would see pictures of probably both her and I, like
Oh yeah.
post
I should
recovery,
show that. I should show like the week I got my period. I felt and I really did look like everyone was like, "Oh, you look fine." I really did look like a Michelin man. Like I did like I don't know if it was the dress I picked or what. It was a Christmas picture, but I was
yeah,
like, you can tell I had a lot of extra weight, and I could say that like I kept that weight on, like I carried it like real heavy in my face and in my arms and everything for a while.
for a
But
while, but it's your weight purely a safety.
yes.
100%. And
Yes.
so when you become at peace with your body and you get to a place of acceptance and you sit there for a minute and your body actually truly
That you have
trusts
the
you.
best interest for it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like it's not like
exactly.
you have to, it's like a marriage. You are not your body. It's you are together, but you're not, your body is not you and you are not your body. You have to make peace with the two sides. It's
Yep.
it's
And
a
as
funky
soon
thing.
as you do, your body will start to let go and redistribute. Like I actually with a client who literally couldn't let go of like, I'm just going to blow up and I'm going to be obese and I'm going to gain weight forever. I'm like, okay. And I normally don't do this because I don't like to do a lot of focus on the body, but I showed her before and after picture. I like put them together and I'm like, literally, this is me then, this is me now. I'm not obese. Like, and
Yeah.
I actually haven't even lost any weight. Actually, I've it's that peace. And I think a lot of people always do. I don't know if it was in like the weight loss industry or what it was of like the weight you actually lose is like,
Mhm.
it's not physical, it's mental, you know?
Mm. Oh, that's going into a whole new can of worms there. But
Yeah.
I have a lot of and I went through a phase too where the same clothes wouldn't fit. But now I'm able to wear a lot of the clothes, not all of them, but a lot of the clothes that I was wearing in my skinny season, like a lot of them, and I'm not talking it's the gaucho pants. Like I'm like a lot of clothes that, were formed fitting, it fits again.
Yeah, I
You
actually
know,
have like
it's
a dress that it's the one and only piece of clothing that I kept because I was like, uh, anyways. I'm like not even gonna go into all of the reasonings of why I kept this
we've all been there. It's
dress.
okay. We get
And
that.
anyways, and now it fits. And this was like a dress that I bought like the first month I was in recovery. Um, and so yeah, like
Well, I think it's a good message for any girl that's listening to this that is like, oh my gosh, I am the Michelin man, or I'm afraid to be the Michelin man. And then just to hear that, there is a time, that, if if you want to work on your body composition again, there is a place for it. But then when you have restored everything else, you don't have to sit at and cry over the fact that you are still in the same place with food. There's a
yes,
place where you can move on.
you can find balance. Like, shoot, what was I literally just gonna say? Oh, this is what I was gonna say is like the discomfort is here for you. Like
Yeah.
I can tell you, like, that was not a great like place for me mentally when I was in a bigger body and my body was changing so
Mhm.
much. Like that was extremely difficult.
Oh,
There were
the
some dark
worst.
days,
Oh
and
yeah.
I don't know how I got through some of them.
Oh,
So
I cried all the time.
we are
All the time.
validating you that this
Yeah,
is extremely hard. It is
it
extremely
is.
hard. That's why having support, having some sort of coach
It
is so
I
beneficial.
never would go through it alone. Never again. Never.
But That was so necessary. I needed the discomfort was here for me. It was here to show me all the parts of myself that needed attention, that needed healing, that needed nurturance. And without that heavy level of discomfort, I wouldn't have been able to get to this place of peace. So it's
Mhm.
like that pendulum thing that we're all going through. You go to restriction, you go to surplus, you find balance. And so
Yes.
you go to this terrible relationship with yourself, and then you go to discomfort, and then you find balance between the both. And so it
Yeah.
is a very real pain and but necessary. So just also want to put that out there.
Amen to that. I
Yeah.
thank you so much. It's so nice to have multiple voices crowing about it so that they know that they're not alone. There's so many people out there that have gone through this and it's not talked about enough. And
Yeah.
it's
You'll get there. And then yeah, you're probably weight focused right now, but just I'm gonna just tell you that in a year from now, if you're doing the work, you're not going to care as much about it.
yeah.
And 2.5 years later, like, and I'm not even trying for weight loss. Like I just love who I am. I love my body and but before I was all about weight loss. I was like, I'm gonna get my body back.
We understand.
Anyways,
Well, I
yes,
think that's about all the time we have anyway. So perfect timing.
it is
Thank you
perfect
so
timing.
much.
Thank
Well,
you,
I'll talk to you again, Mishi, and good
Abby.
luck out there, everybody.
Yes, bye.
Bye.